Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I want to thank you for tuning in for the second half of Up Close and Personal with Angela on behalf of Aspiring Authors Magazine. For those that do not know who I am, I'm Angela Thomas Smith. I'm the founder of AALAC, which is the African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign, where I truly believe in bringing awareness to brown authors all over this world. I'm also the CEO of Aspiring Authors Magazine, where I truly believe in bridging the gap between brown authors and touching on topics that's affecting our brown authors all over this world. So, I have the pleasure of bringing some amazing authors and motivational speakers and coaches on my platform. So today I have an amazing author that's going to be sharing his journey with becoming an author. So I'm going to bring him up and allow him to share just a little bit about himself. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. My name is Casey Bell. I am a self-published author. I've been an author since 2007, where I published my first fiction short story called The Diary of Stephanie Dane. And I've been publishing books since then. My latest book is Four Keys to Success, where I discuss what you need to do to have success in any part of your life, whether it's work, relationships, health, wellness, wherever it may be. And I also am not just an author, but a playwright, screenwriter, songwriter, poet, and I also do graphic art, and I'm also a fashion designer.
Wow, you are a man of many hats.
Yes.
So I know this journey has not been easy. So what has this journey been like for you?
It's been eye-opening because the journey taught me how much I didn't know who I was, and how even though I was like, for starters, I've been writing my whole life, but I never realized I was a writer, because I always got C's and D's in English class, and no matter how hard I tried, there would be days where I would be like, I'm getting an A on this test and I know it, and I would get it back and it would be a C, and it would be like, what am I doing wrong? And I remember in eighth grade, this day was like set in my brain. My friend behind me, I got the test back and I said, I'm never going to understand English and how to write properly. And he said, well, then you'll never be a writer. And my response was, I don't care. I don't want to be a writer. And from there, I was still writing, but it never occurred to me that I was supposed to be a writer. And I think 2018 was the first year where I finally agreed that even though I was publishing books and I was writing plays, it was 2018 where I finally admitted I'm a writer, because I realized um, the school wasn't really for me. I realized I had to be the one to teach myself English, and I had to reteach myself the proper way to write. And I realized that I was always a writer. Everything I wanted to be in life, I was writing. So I originally wanted to be a gospel singer because I was writing music. I wanted to be a TV chef because I was writing a script on how to cook something. I wanted to be a comic artist because I was writing comics. I wanted to be an actor because I was writing plays and I wanted to act out these plays I was writing. And so everything I wanted to be started out because I was writing. And the journey really taught me how much of a writer I am and everything I didn't know about myself. It taught me everything I didn't know about publishing. I didn't realize there was so much marketing and advertising that I had to do. Even when I tried to hire someone to do it for me, they said, well, what are you going to do too? And I'm like, what do you mean? What am I going to do? I'm going to hire you. So it was definitely a journey of where I gave up a lot of times. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I just don't want to do this anymore, because I would do so much and not see fruit from it. And I would be so frustrated. But I guess the writer in me pushed me to keep going. So it's definitely been a rough journey, but a good journey, because I learned a lot from the journey.
I'm so glad you on today because I have authors that come on all the time. And then I have authors that always reach out to me and they always say, well, I want to make money. I want to make money. And the first thing I ask them, well, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? And just like you, they say, I want to hire you. No, you don't want to hire me because number one, I'm not a marketer. I have an organization and I like to promote authors, but I can help you. I can help teach you how to do some of these things, but you got to put in the work for yourself.
Yeah.
And all the time, also often, we get frustrated and we lose track of the bigger picture. You know, we want popcorn results. We put these books out one day, 1 month, 1 year, and we think we're supposed to be a millionaire the next, when that's not so. Very much not so. And I thank you for coming on today and being transparent and sharing your journey, because people need to know. So along this journey, now you wear a lot of hats. You found your passion in writing music. You found your passion in writing plays. Out of all the things that you've done, what are you most passionate about?
Just, I would say, sharing a message in what I do. I realize, as you said, authors want to make money. I tell people, if you want to write, don't let money be your focus. Let the message be your focus. Even in theater, it's been, I guess, amongst theater people only, but they're not only thinking about how is Broadway going to come back, but how is Broadway going to come back without the discrimination. And I wrote an article for Theater Art Life saying, stop thinking about the artists and think about the message, because there's so many plays and films out there that could have been filled with people of all different colors, but they weren't, because they cared more about the actors than they cared about the message. And I always say, what message are you trying to give? Because you can make $1 billion off a book off of anti-suicide, but if suicide rate goes up, you're a failure, because you didn't do what you set out to do. But if you sell only 100 books, but suicide goes down, you succeeded, because the message was more important than the money. And so we have to care more about when I write this play, this film, this TV show, this article, what message do I want to give people to cause them to become a better person than they were yesterday? And that's what you should be focused on, the message, not anything else, not the artist, not the book, not the money, not the fame, not the fortune, not being interviewed by Oprah or being on her book club. But what message are you trying to give? Because if nothing changes, you failed.
I so love you. I so love you, because you are really just hitting the message that I want to get across to people that follow me. And that's what I try to portray on my platform. Not only that, you touched on something that is near and dear to my heart, which is suicide awareness. And you are so right. We can preach all day on, and we can put out all this stuff. I've given away so many. Let me show you my book. I keep it right here. But let me show you my book. And I've ordered boxes of these books, and I've just given them away. I've not made a dime off of it, because the message that's in this book, when I get an inbox and somebody tell me that their child, they had been crying out and praying and seeking God because their child has been suicidal, or their child has taken a bottle of medicine, or their child has come off their medication and they don't know what to do, and I can send them this book and I get the message back that it encouraged them, that it helped them, that makes my day. Mm-hmm. The message is getting across. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about the money. You know what I'm saying? It's never, with me, it's never about the money. And that's why I love my various platforms, because my managers and the owners of my platforms, they allow us to come on and be our authentic self. That's why when people ask me, do I have questions for my shows? No, I don't have questions, because you never know how God want to move. And if I could have asked you a whole bunch of questions about writing, and I never would have got to the point of you writing music. We would have been talking about books, because all my questions would have been designed around books, because I didn't know that you did all this other stuff. So everything would have been designed around books. So I'm glad I do things the way that I do, so that when you come on and share, I can really see you for who you are. You are a blessing. You are a blessing to many. And I thank you for coming on and sharing. I want you to share now how people can follow. Do you have music out? Because I want to hear about everything. You got me excited over here.
No, I've written music and I've joined ASCAP, but no one has produced my music yet, and I don't produce it as of yet. So no, I don't have any music out, but
you write, so you're looking for singers to maybe pick up your music too, or maybe no?
Not,
I I don't know how music works. I just listen to it.
Yeah, well, I'm more of a lyricist. I
Mhm.
sometimes compose, but I don't know how to read and write music, so I'm more of a lyricist. So I'm always looking for an artist to take my words and turn it into their own work. And so that's what I'm but I'm not really focusing on my music on the music right now.
Okay.
Right now I'm focusing on books. But yeah, I do write. I've been like actually the first thing I've ever written in my life was a song. I always joke about it because my brother, well, my sister and I would joke about my brother because he had got what we would call the good godparents, because we would get clothing from our godparents. He would get the Nintendo and the Atari and all that stuff from his godparents. So we were jealous of him. And so he was playing this video game, and literally, I think I was 6 or 7. Out of nowhere, I just started. There was no music words to the song. I just started singing a song because that's what I did. And every time he would play the video game, my sister and I would sing the song. And that was my first time writing. And from there, that's what I've been doing, writing. And it wasn't until 2018 when I came back home from, because I was still trying to be an actor. I came back home from an audition. It didn't work out. And I was like, Lord, why is this not being successful? He said, because you're a writer. And he had to remind me from that age up until now, that's all I ever did was write. And everything I did, writing was a part of it. And it finally went, oh, right. Like I said, my parents brought me for Christmas when I was a child, the karaoke machine. And I had these blank cassette tapes, and I created my own talk show. I wrote the whole talk show. I created the commercials. I wrote the commercials, and I recorded the talk show and the commercials. And that was the Lord showing me, don't you see every day you were writing your whole life? This is what you are. This is your makeup. This is everything about you. And it took me, 2018 was the first year where I finally officially said, oh, okay, yeah, I'm a writer, because that's all I've ever done, really. So, yeah, but I've written a whole bunch of songs. I actually have a book that I published with my songs in it. But I'm not focused on it right now.
So your focus is your books.
Right.
So what your latest project? Share that with us.
So 4 Keys to Success started because it was sometime before the pandemic, February, early March, I don't remember. But I taught a Sunday school class on your identity and finding your identity. And one of the ministers said, oh, you should turn this into a book. And at the time I said no, because one of the things I was teaching about our identity is lots of times we use what I call our buckets, skin color, gender, sexuality, zodiac signs. I say those are our buckets because that will keep you, the moment you say I'm a woman, then someone might say, well, you can't do this because you're a woman. But if you use your fingerprints as your identity, then nothing can stop you, because your fingerprint is not, when the police see that fingerprint, they have no clue of the gender, the ethnicity of that fingerprint, the age of that fingerprint. They know nothing about the fingerprint. All they know is that there was a human being here at this moment. And even if they run the fingerprint, if you're not in the system, they have no clue what type of person you are. So I was demonstrating them to draw their hand and all of the lines they see. And then I told them to pass it to their neighbor. And I asked them 3 questions. A, is your fingerprint different from someone else's? Obviously, yes. B, is there anything wrong with your fingerprint? Because it's different? No. Is there anything wrong with their fingerprint? Because it's different? No. And so I said, that's the reason why we have so much hatred in this country, because people are looking at their skin color, their height, and their weight to measure each other, instead of realizing we're like our fingerprint. We're unique, and we're not supposed to be the same. And when I use your identity, your fingerprint as your identity, and not all that other stuff, then you're not going to be hating yourself because you're different, and you won't hate someone else because they're different, because we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Because we're supposed to be our fingerprint. That is our identity. That's who we are. When people say everything I touch, I fail, because whatever you touch new, you're not supposed to be touching me. Your fingerprints, everything you touch knows your fingerprints. So they know what's supposed to be touching, who's supposed to be touching it, and who's not. So even your feet prints are unique. So your pathway, if you're on someone else's pathway, that path is going to be like, you don't belong here. your footprint weren't designed for this. So go back onto your pathway. And so the book really discusses the 5 points of you that is unique from everyone else. Your mouth is unique. Your teeth. If you die, the doctors can use your dental records to identify you. Your lips, believe it or not, have their own print, and so does your tongue. So and police have used lips as a marker of either a victim, a suspect, or a witness. Your ear prints have their own unique identity as well. So when you hear people say, I heard a voice tell me, the Lord knows it's you, not because of your gender or skin color, but because he created your print, your ear print. So he knows whose ear print he's talking to according to the print he created. And then lastly, your iris. Your irises are 100% unique. So when you see a vision and then you share it with someone and they go, oh, that's a dumb idea. The reason why they don't get it is because that vision, he sent it to you only because he knew exactly whose iris he was sending it to. And so he created us uniquely so that we can understand we're not supposed to try to be like everybody else. We're not supposed to put ourselves what I call the buckets, the things we use to identify ourselves. Because what happens when crabs get in the bucket? They tear each other down. So when you put yourself in that bucket of women and then they say women can't do such and such, and then other women see you doing that, what do? Oh, you ain't supposed to be because you did. They're tearing you down. But when crabs are free by the oceans and the seas are limitless. If a crab is by the Red Sea, it doesn't have to stay there. It can now go to Atlantic Sea. It's free. It can do anything. Wow. And the purpose of shellfish is to consume death so it doesn't kill life. So when they see something that's too big for them to consume, they make noises to communicate to other shellfish, I need you to help me consume this before it's too late. So when crabs are where they're supposed to be out in the seas and oceans, they draw people together. But when they are somewhere where they're not supposed to be, like a bucket, they tear each other down. So when we get into these buckets, that's when we tear each other down. But when we become where we're supposed to be using our unique identifiers, then we'll see other people and say, oh, can you help me with this project so we can, do this together? And so the book really talks about how if you find your identity, you'll be successful in relationships and work and business and your health. Because a lot of times there's like so many things out there telling you what you should and shouldn't do as far as your health, what blah, 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 blah. But sometimes you can feel in yourself what's right and what's wrong. But so many people will go against what they feel because someone else said you shouldn't. And so the book really deals with learning how to be identify yourself for who you really are so that you can start living as you're supposed to, which is going to be different. And it's difficult because we live in a society where you can't be different. You have to be the same. And one of the things I mentioned is the reason why we have that problem is because of school. As we know, school sometimes will throw some children in the slow class. So now automatically they feel, what's wrong with me? They feel bad. But even the children who get to stay in the normal classes, that messes with their psyche because they're saying, if I want to stay, I got to do everything this teacher wants me to do, which means I can't be myself. If being myself means I'm going to be thrown in the slow class, then I got to do everything they're telling me to do. So by the time we get out of school, we keep that mindset that I can't be myself anymore. If my parents say I got to go to college and become a doctor, that's what I got to be. If the church is telling me I can't do this and I can't do that, even though I can hear God telling me to do such and such, I can't do that. And so we live in a world where we are basically criticized for being who we are. And so it takes a lot of courage or exercising your courage to say, as much as I might lose some people, which is a good thing because people say I might lose friends. I say you can never lose a friend, but you can lose an enemy you thought was a friend. Mm-hmm. And so you got to be able to be okay with people who may leave your life because you're now being who you were originally supposed to be, but you couldn't be because the whole world told you it's not going to be unique. And so that's basically the book in a nutshell, where I discuss how to become you so you can be successful in every area of your life.
Do you have a copy of the book that you can show? Do you have it?
I don't at the moment. Okay. No, I apologize.
That's fine. That's okay. But you've touched on some key things, like really on my platform. All I want people to know is that they have purpose and that they have to discover that purpose within them. Because whether they realize it or not, God is not dropping anything out the sky. Everything that He's created was already created when He ordained you in your mother's womb, according to Jeremiah 1:5. He said he named every hair on your head, so He know everything. He know you. He called you by name, and then He said He set you apart. So right there alone, before you even get into anything else, you should know right there then you are unique. But then He reminds us again when He tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So there again lets you know that there is no one else like you. We get so caught up in the flesh. We get so caught up in this flesh and feeling that we have to keep up with the person beside us, when if we just discover who we are and we love who we are. When we love who we are and discover who we are, that's when we are able to empower others. And that's when we can start building up our community and empowering our community and encouraging others. But until you know who you are, you're going to be lost. You're going to be chasing everybody else's dreams, but the dreams that God placed in your soul. You know, it's a couple of people that I'm connected to. That's just the message that is across. It's across the board right now. You know, God wants His people to know that they have purpose and that they are unique. That they don't have to compete with everybody else, because they not everybody else. I thank you for coming on here, because that message needs to get out. I want you to share again how they can purchase that book and how they can follow you. I definitely want to get you. I'm launching a new show in 2021. It's a Motivational Monday show. It's a half hour of power. We breaking down words. We speaking affirmation. We encouraging people to walk in their power. And I'm talking about understanding what the word power means, not the definition that Webster don't gave us, and all those people don't define it. But I'm talking about understanding what power means, that reaches down to your soul, so you know who you are. And I'm gonna tell you what the word, what God revealed to me that word means. He broke down the P, the O, the W, the E, the R. He broke it all down. The P stands for position. Position to overcome by being a willing vessel, by empowering others because of your resilience. You didn't give up, and you are definitely exhibiting power right now, because you're positioned right now to show others how to discover themselves. You're showing others because you overcame. You overcame a lot. You just shared a whole lot with us that you overcame. Your writing, the things that you went through with writing in school and teachers, you overcame that. Why did you overcome that? Why? Because you was a willing vessel. You was a willing vessel, willing to be used to empower others. You never gave up. That's an example of power. So that's what I'm going to be doing on my show. I definitely want you to get signed up to be a part of that show, because I want you to come on and co-host with me. I want to allow people to come on and co-host with me and empower our people in 2021, because that's what we need. And we need to come together and do more of this. You know, he's been revealing words to me. He broke down to me what helped me heal, gift, transform. I'm talking about letter for letter. I'm talking about the T. He gave me 3 sentences for the T. Yeah, he was breaking it down. He's been breaking it down. But this ain't about me. This ain't about me. So I just wanted to throw that out there and just let you know that I have that platform coming up, and I definitely want you to be a part of that platform, because you have a message that needs to get out, and people need to know. And I definitely want to share your message. So I want to extend that to you. We can talk off air about that as well. But I want people to be able to get your book, because you've dropped some very important nuggets. And, you know, there's some people tuned in that needed to hear that today. You know, I pride my platform in being able to share people's message and their stories, because I know I can't reach everybody. And that message that you just given, you know, I've been giving it, but some people haven't been receiving it.
Right.
But I receive it from you today, and I hope that they will receive it too. You know, some people needed to hear it from you. So I want you to share how they can get your book. And then I want you to share with them how they can follow you on your various social media platforms, your websites. I have a couple. I'm going to post them back up. But I want you to share that with them really quick.
Sure. The easiest way is authorcaseybell.com. It is available on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble's website. And if you go to my website, authorcaseybell.com, and click on the social media tab, that has all my social media. And so that's the easiest way to follow me and get in connection with me. Yeah, as far as the stuff I said earlier about my art and my fashion design, you can go to caseysamuelbell.com, and that leads you to everything about me.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to thank you for coming on today and sharing with us. I definitely have been encouraged and inspired. I pray that this message has blessed a lot of people. I'm going to be uploading it to my various social media sites and sharing it. Is there anything that you would like to leave with those that are following and those that will tune in later? Would you like to leave anything with them?
Yes. So I know America as a whole, had a lot of issues. And one of the things the best way to solve an issue is to eat. And you're saying, what does that mean? So when baby birds are first born, they cannot see. Their eyes are closed and they cannot see. So when their parents feed them, they have to just trust that what they're being fed is going to help them and not harm them. After a certain age, their eyes are open and they're expected to go for themselves. So as humans, when it comes to revelation or education, when you're young, when you're first starting out, you're ignorant or blind, and the information doctors give you, the information teachers give you, the information your parents give you, the information the clergy give you, you have to just have trust that what they're giving you is going to help you and not harm you. But because we know human beings don't speak truth 24/7, at some point you have to open your eyes, take a trip to the library, and eat. In other words, read. Because that's how you gain knowledge. That's how you get smart. That's how when the Bible says a man that does not work, he does not eat. He wasn't talking about a physical work. He was telling the church, you need to work the word and you need to research the word so that you can actually eat the word, because not everyone is going to give you the word. They're going to give you what they think the word is. And so when you look at all the things people are upset about in America, most of it is coming from pure ignorance, because they're just believing that what the teacher taught them is the truth. They're just believing what their parents taught them is the truth. They're just believing what the doctors told them is the truth. But at some point, you have to stop being a baby bird. You're going to have to grow up and you have to open your eyes and spend time in the library. And if you have the money, go to the bookstore and buy the books and really research, because we don't have time on your program for me to tell you all the things Americans believe is true. That is just not. There's a really long list of things we were lied to about. And we can't blame those alive, because the lies started centuries ago because fear of the truth. So they decided to recreate history. They started to recreate things. So they're all dead and gone. So Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. But we can't use that as excuses anymore, because the library is old, probably the oldest institution other than church in the world, and it's always been free. So education has always been free, but we have to be the ones to stop waiting for the adult birds to feed us, and it's time for us to grow up and feed ourselves. And so I would leave with saying, feed yourself, America. Stop waiting for someone to feed you, because just as long as they benefit from you being ignorant, they're not going to feed you correctly.
Wow. I can't even say anything else after this. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. I tell you, I have truly been blessed. I hope that you have been blessed. I want you guys to share this across your social media circle of influence, because I tell you, I have been blessed. I want to thank you. I want to extend my platform to you. Again, if there's anything that I can do to assist you on your journey as an author, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'm the founder of ALAC and Aspiring Authors Magazine. I'm here to assist my brown authors. I believe that we have to come together to get this message across the world in order for all of us to heal. So thank you. Thank you for sharing today. I love you, my brother.
Thank you. I love you too. And thank you for having me.